Good boy, good boy, good boy. Well, welcome back to Hampshire Spaniel Training, where we're going to be doing a new vlog series with little Mac here. Oh, that was good timing, Mac, wasn't it? Going for a little wee-wee. Good lad. So, Mac is now about 11 weeks old, so I've had him about 3 weeks. And he's well settled into a routine now. Now, in this episode, I'm going to talk about a few of the things at the beginning that I'm trying to make sure that I get right from the very start. And one of the things is that we're always looking to do is make sure that we don't overstimulate the dog and have the dog out beyond the amount of time that we can keep the dogs focused on us. So the first thing, because it's quite warm, he's already got himself a little bit hot, I'm going to put him away so I can talk to you guys without him having enough. Right, so when I'm working with my clients, in the beginning, assuming most people are going to get their puppy at 8 weeks old, in the first block, and I normally talk about that taking us from 8 weeks to 13 weeks. The reason why I say 13 weeks, that's normally the point I start my lead training with my dogs. In this first block, we're trying to establish 3 things. We're trying to establish a good crate routine, where we've got a comfortable dog being in its crate. It understands that we want it to go to the toilet outside. It's not sound activated. It's not trying to sound activate you. It doesn't have any anxiety issues, and we don't develop any separation disorders. And having a really good crate routine is integral to that right at the very beginning. The problem is with cockers is they're a high energy dog. They were never bred to be a house dog, although they can be fantastic house dogs. You do need to segregate them a little bit more than what you perhaps might do with a more domesticated dog, because you're at risk of your dog learning bad habits quicker than you can train it. And so the crate is there to protect you a lot, as well as to help the dog understand and getting in the routine and being let out. It's about having the dog having downtime, you not having the dog out too long, it not getting overstimulated, and then you're getting a collection of different issues off the back of that. One of the things that's really, really important is that you have a safe area to be letting your dog out in. So I'm always talking to my clients, often we're looking between 1.25 a tennis court, the white lined part. That's your perfect area. It's enough space for your dog to run around and go to the toilet, but it's not enough space for the dog to start to play games with you. You also want that to be as sterile as you can. If you've got flower borders, you've got stones, things for the dog to pick up, before you know it, you're chasing the dog round, and you've got all sorts of issues that could be avoided by being more restrictive at the beginning. So with Mac, all I've been trying to do at this early stage is get him used to going to the toilet outside, and I've started to develop the retrieve as well. He's having a little bit of interaction and socialization with my own dogs within my own kennel unit, but externally I'm not doing any of that. Each day I'm taking him out for 5 minutes, I'm sticking him underneath my armpit, and I'm on a bit of a walk around the block. I'm letting them see a car moving past, a magpie, a plane come over the head, a kiddie on a bike. All things you've never noticed, but your dog has never seen for the first time. And that's what I call enrichment. I'm slowly exposing the dogs to different sights and smells and sounds gradually over the weeks to come. I'll start my lead work at 13 weeks, and normally by about 15 or 16 weeks, they're walking fairly nicely. And then very quickly, I'm starting to incorporate that heel work into my retrieving. If I can get to 13 weeks with a good out and back retrieve, and as you'll see in the videos to come, that will start off in a nice small segregated space. That's what we're looking to do to start with. I'm always saying, if you can't get your dog back from 3 or 4 feet away from you, there's no point in doing 10 feet. So in the videos to come, you're going to see how I'm starting to slowly develop that retrieve with Mac. Just to also let you know, I ran a competition 2 or 3 weeks ago on my YouTube channel, and the 2 winners, I'm going to put your names below now. So if you want to send me a message either on Facebook or Instagram, I'll sort you out with your prizes, which were puppy packs. Any training products you want, don't forget to go through to our Facebook page, Hampshire Spaniel Training or Spaniel Training Kit. You can get yourself any of the training kit that you'll see on any of our vlogs on there. So on to some retrieving with little Mac.
Right, so here we are with Mac, and we're already looking to start developing that retrieve, which I find is so important to entertaining your dog, finding an objective to do together. It's a form of recall under pressure as well. The pressure being that when they have a retrieve, they don't naturally want to return later on. Now, one of the key points is I find that with a lot of puppies, when you first get them like this, once they have fixed onto the retrieve, they can be quite keen to come back straight away. But often after a few days, a week or so, they can very quickly start to become very independent, and that drive to come back starts to get diluted, and suddenly you find that little puppy that was coming back is now trying to be more evasive. And that's the point when I then start to look for my puppy training lane.
Right, so one of the first things that we're always looking to do when we start our retrieving is create some sort of training lane. And here I've got some puppy panels. And when I first started with him, you know, a week or so after I'd had him, I've come in here now. So basically give the dog no option but to go out and come back. I can bring this side section in, it keeps it really, really narrow. And I can funnel the dog up onto me. I'm always saying to my online clients, if you can't get the dog back from 3 feet, there's no point in doing 4 feet or 5 feet or 6 feet. If you can't lean forwards onto your left hand and give the dog a nudge towards you to get the dog towards you, then it's too far. So he now is about 11 weeks. And although, as you've seen in the previous clip, he was retrieving very naturally at first, like a lot of puppies, once they find their feet after a few days, they suddenly start to test the boundaries and the dog stops coming back. So although I knew he was retrieving right from the start for me, because he was still very attached and probably insecure, very quickly found his feet, and then he wasn't wanting to come back. So we've got a little training lane here now, so I can pull the side in like this. I'm going to use one of my 30-gram natural rabbit skin puppy dummies. This is my starting one. I'm just going to bounce it off the panel at the end, let him go, and then we're going to try and get him up. See, good boy, well done. Now he can be a bit soft in the mouth, so depending on how I think it's going on each individual retrieve, sometimes I take it early off him, and sometimes I let him hold it a little bit longer. It just depends on what he's being like. Good boy, good boy. Here, here, good lad, good lad. Whoop. Just drop that there. Good boy, good boy. So I'm going to make him sit this time. So I'm going to chuck that out, little sit, hand at the base of the back, right hand on the chest. He's wriggling, but that's fine. Throw the right arm out, back, and then lots of encouragement. Good boy, good lad. See, he is a bit soft and a bit mouthy. That's quite typical for a lot of cockers. But as long as I'm not throwing it, having him dropped it, back, then that's all I'm bothered about at this stage. Good boy. Good boy, well done. If he's holding it well, I let him hold it, but he is very chompy at this stage. That should go a little bit later on, as long as I'm taking the retrieve straight out of his mouth. If I'm worried he's going to drop it, that's fine. If he does drop it, I do want to try and get him to pick it up again, because if he drops it and I keep throwing it, that will exacerbate, or be very likely to exacerbate, him letting go of the retrieve sooner and sooner, in the anticipation that I'm going to throw it again. So sit him up again, sit position. You paying attention? Back. Good boy. Good boy. So I'm going to put that in my pocket now. I've got one of my little mini rabbit balls here. Throw it out. Good boy. Good boy. Good lad. Good boy. Good boy. You're a bit better with that. Good boy. Oop, dropped it. So I'm going to let him pick it up again. Here. Now, this is very typical of them starting to lie down. Oh, I was patient now. He brought it back to me. I'm going to go back again with the ball. Sit position. Back. Good boy. Good boy. Now, sometimes what I do is put my hand under their chin to help keep a bit of pressure under the chin to help stopping them letting go of the retrieve. He's not too bad. Good boy. Back. Good boy, up on my lap. Good. So if he's holding it well, I'll push my luck. See, ends up mouthing it a bit too much. And I think the best thing at that point is to just take it straight off him, so that he doesn't get in the habit of dropping it and then me throwing it again. So I'm going to do one more with him, and that'll do him for now. I'm going to roll it out, sat position, back. A lot of encouragement. Good boy. Here, good boy. Whoop, dropped it. Come on. Finish on a good one. Good boy. Well done. There we go, that'll do for now. Right, so we're pretty much at the point now where I can do a retrieve on an open piece of space like this, still using a wall behind me. Got my little puppy rabbit skin dummy, a little bit of a throw out, a little bit of encouragement. Good lad, good boy, back up on my lap. Nice, good boy, well done, good boy. Right, so we're going to do another one like that, but this time I'm going to make him wait a little bit, so I'm going to G him up a little bit. I'm going to throw the retrieve out, push him gently into a sat position, back. Good boy, well done. Yes, good boy, good boy. He's holding it in the corner of his mouth, so it went in his mouth a bit better there, so I'm going to take it more or less straight away. Nice and gentle, going to flick it back out again. Sat position, that might be out of shot on the camera. Are you ready? Ready?
Ready? Back. Good boy. Good lad. Good lad. Good lad. Good boy. Good boy. Sometimes I can twist it in his mouth. Left thumb in the corner of his mouth. That just opens his mouth. He's a bit chompy. So when they're about like that, I'll judge it on each individual retrieve. If I feel I need to take it slightly sooner rather than later, I will. There we go. Back. Good boy. Well done. So sometimes he holds it really well, and I just take it a little bit early. Now, in a perfect world, I like him to sit there and hold it like that. But all dogs are different. Sometimes it might be 8, 10, 12, 16 months until you have a really good presentation. The key though is to not allow the dog to drop the retrieve, so you have to throw it again, because that can then exacerbate the dog wanting to let go of it sooner and sooner. He's a bit lethargic at the moment. Good boy, back. He's had quite a lot done today, so good lad, good boy, good boy. One of the things that you want to do is when you're doing your retrieving is play around at different times. I find most pups are most receptive first thing in the morning when you're doing your retrieving. But if you find a certain session or a certain time of day they're not as good, just don't do it, because if it's not progressive, it's regressive. So you're searching that out. I'm going to do one more for you guys and chuck it out into a sat position. Right hand on the chest, left hand at the base of the back. Ready? Back. Good boy. Good boy. Good lad. So he's got it by the corner there, so I'm just going to take it straight off him. Good boy. Well done. So there we go. So maybe in the next session, by the time I put the next video out, I'll probably be doing a little bit of lead work, I would imagine. So anyway, thanks for watching.
Right, well, I hope you've enjoyed this first episode of Mac's vlog. I'm going to try and do an episode fairly regularly. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and if you have any questions, stick them in the description below. Otherwise, happy training, guys.